If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
So we had a lot of racing happen this weekend with the Richmond review. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. So we first start the weekend off with the F1 sprint race at Monza. That little qualifying race that sets the grid. Like, the only action that really happened was Pierre Gasly somehow lost his front wing and his brakes, and he ended up going into the wall. So yeah, that was kind of sad to see Gasly suffer that way. But other than that, really not a whole lot. Hamilton had one of the worst starts in F1, falling back pretty badly. In the end, Valtteri Bottas goes on and wins the sprint race. Verstappen finishes second and gets 2 more points for his championship total, since the sprint races have points on the line for the top 3 finishers. So now after the sprint race, Verstappen's championship advantage goes to 5. And Ricciardo also got a podium. But Verstappen and Ricciardo will be the front row for the Italian GP, since Bottas' win won't mean a whole lot, since Bottas will officially be going to the back of the field after having an engine change. Just Bottas' luck. As soon as he figures something out, he then has to go to the rear. So yeah. In fact, before we continue on to the Cup racing and Xfinity, let's talk about some F1 silly season, though, since we're on the topic of F1. Since F1 silly season has probably taken off after Bottas announced that he would be going to Alfa Romeo in 2022 to replace the retiring Kimi Räikkönen. So yeah, with that out, the Mercedes seat is open. And who would take that seat? Why, it would be George Russell. Russell is now officially going to Mercedes in 2022. Let's be real, this was the worst kept secret in the F1 garage. Everyone has known for maybe over a year, maybe 2 years, that Russell was going to be replacing Bottas, making this one of the most predictable F1 moves in recent memory. So Russell goes to Williams. At least next year, instead of Russell trying to compete for top 10s, Russell can compete for wins. I think the one thing that might be shocking to some fans is that this Russell's going to Mercedes while Lewis Hamilton is still driving there. A lot of fans thought this wouldn't happen until Hamilton retires. But yeah, next year we got Russell versus Hamilton. Maybe Hamilton will have a real teammate to push him now, like Nico Rosberg used to. Or George Russell will become Valtteri Bottas 2.0 because Mercedes, that's why. But while we're discussing that, though, Williams has also announced the replacement for George Russell, as it will be Alex Albon, now confirmed to go to Williams. That's actually pretty interesting. So now Alex Albon will get punishment for underachieving in that Red Bull ride. And he gets probably one of the second worst punishment possible. A driver at Williams. The worst punishment would be going to the Haas shit show. So now all the driver lineups have been confirmed. Now the only one that hasn't is Alfa Romeo. Other than Bottas, the second seat is still undecided. There's no word if Antonio Giovinazzi will be back in that seat, if they're going to be going in a different direction. I've heard rumors about Nick De Vries, the Formula E champion for Mercedes. I've even heard Callum Ilott. I've heard a couple names thrown in there. So I guess that's the only seat left in F1 silly season. It's really gone by quickly. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So yeah, who will get that second Alfa Romeo seat in 2022? We'll find out later on. Anyway, continuing on. Next up, we have the Xfinity race at Richmond on 9/11. Xfinity race, that was actually pretty much one of the better races this weekend. There was a lot of comers and goers in this race. In the end, Noah Gragson comes through in the clutch again. And Noah Gragson, for the first time in his Xfinity career, will win back-to-back races. as he wins at Richmond. So Gragson can win on short tracks now. And he can do it clean, fair, and square. Damn. Gragson doing it again. And Gragson even did a burnout with an American flag to celebrate USA on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Somehow fans are still gonna call Gragson a douchebag because, yeah, fans are petty and will hate anyone for any reason. I also look at the finishing order because Justin Haley finished second in this race. So the top two finishers in this race had car numbers 9 and 11. So the top two were 9/11 on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Yep, let the conspiracy theories flow. Illuminati confirmed. Dale Earnhardt is still alive. Yeah, for anyone that wants to deny any 9/11 conspiracy theories, have fun denying it after this shit, because now Gragson and Haley finishing 1-2 on the 20th anniversary of 9/11 just gave all the conspiracy theorists all the ammo they need. Have fun. Good luck. And I signed up for the 20th anniversary. I got myself a special Kyle Larson shirt, as it's an Larson American flag shirt. So yeah, I got the red, white, and blue on this week, by the way. So anyway, continuing on now to the Cup race at Richmond. Well, we had a little tribute, though, with the firefighters. You know, to celebrate the men and women that were lost on 9/11 20 years ago. And all that stuff. But overall to the race, though, well, in the second stage, we would have another 9/11 moment when Chase Elliott would take the lead and Hamlin would run second. So for much of stage 2, we did have Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin go 1-2. So we had cars 9 and 11 go 1-2 on 9/11. What a fucking coincidence. So yeah, the first two stages were very interesting. Like, Hamlin dominated majority of it, but Chase Elliott stayed close with him until the last round of pit stops and stayed to the stage 2 pit stops, when Chase Elliott would end up making contact with Chastain while entering his pit stall, would skid a few feet. And then while Chase Elliott's jackman had the car jacked up, Chase, for some reason, would choose to reverse the car as it was getting jacked up, and that would cause the car to fall off the jack. And to be honest, Chase didn't even need to back up. He was literally still in the stall. He didn't jump it. He was literally still in. So yeah, once again, that's, like I said, that's just been the 9 team this year. They just find every single conceivable way to shoot themselves in the foot. Whether it be Alan Gustafson and his pit strategy calls, or the pit crew shitting the bed, or Chase Elliott making a mental error. It don't matter what it is. Somehow that 9 team always finds a way to shoot themselves in the foot. God damn it. But Chase Elliott was able to get the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. And then stage 3 happened, and really stage 3, nothing really happened in stage 3. Like, stage 3 was entirely the Joe Gibbs Racing show. Like, literally for much of stage 3, the top 4 were literally all the JGR cars. JGR literally was going 1, 2, 3, 4. And they almost pulled the finish off until the final round of pit stops, when Kyle Busch would get busted for speeding. So Kyle Busch had to go to the rear. I should also mention that in stage 1, Kurt Busch also wrecked out too after cutting a tire down. And that pretty much puts a big blow on Kurt Busch's championship hopes. And Michael McDowell made a number of speeding penalties, so that really puts the nail in McDowell's coffin. And also at the start of the race, Martin Truex Jr. beat Hamlin to the start-finish line and got black flagged and got penalized. And Kyle Busch also earlier in the race got a weird penalty of equipment interference because Kyle Busch's crew had an uncontrolled tire and it went into Truex's pit stall and interfered with their pit stop. Thank God Truex's team didn't put that tire on. That would have been fun, or that would have been funny as hell. So yeah, there was a lot of some chase drivers made some errors tonight. In the end, though, through all of it, Martin Truex Jr. comes back and comes alive in the second half when Denny Hamlin had to race his own teammates. And Martin Truex Jr. wins at Richmond. So Truex goes on to the second round of the chase, to the round of 12. So it seems like Truex's lack of speed in the second half, it seems like maybe the 19 team was intentionally sandbagging till the chase. And just treating the second half as test and tune session races for the chase. Trying the old Jimmy Johnson strategy, I see, of just treating the second half of the regular season as test and tune races and sandbag till the chase and then hit the switch. Interesting tactics, I'll say the least. So in the end, the top three ended up being Joe Gibbs Racing Cars with Hamlin second and Christopher Bell third. They almost went 1, 2, 3, 4. They probably would have if Kyle Busch didn't get busted for speeding. And just like that, JGR just realized it's a lot harder to go 1, 2, 3, 4 than Hendrick Motorsports made it look at Dover. A lot harder than it looks, boys. You almost had it. You got to try harder than that, though. And oh, by the way, the highest finishing non-JGR driver was Chase Elliott in fourth. Yeah, despite all the issues in the team shooting themselves in the foot, Chase Elliott was able to roar all the way back to a top 5 finish. Not bad. Interesting way of recovering after shooting yourself in the foot. Damn. Also, Kyle Larson finished 6th, and Larson gained enough points to where Larson mathematically locks himself into the round of 12 on points. So Larson moves on to the round of 12. So 3 drivers in, 9 still up for grabs. So yeah. And next week is Bristol. I'll be honest here. Richmond sucks in that night. Richmond is complete ass at night. Richmond is a lot better in the daytime. Like, honestly, I think the chase race at Richmond could be a lot better if they ran this race in the daytime and not at night. Night Richmond sucks. Day Richmond is better. To be completely honest. Hell, since Alex Bowman won at Richmond earlier this year, I want to be shocked if the Richmond race in a couple of years in the chase, if the Chase Richmond race ends up becoming a dirt race. Since Bowman wanted the track, so now we got to change it. Like, I want to be shocked if Richmond loses the race and we only run the race in the daytime. Or if we turn the chase race at Richmond into a dirt race so we can have every single type of track configuration in the chase. Since now the only thing missing in the chase now is a dirt track. Then you have everything in it. See, I want to be shocked about that too, since it seems like Bowman's on the path to killing another track. Since with the schedule rumors coming out, and the schedule expected to come out within a week or so, there's the rumors that Pocono is losing a race, and Gateway's going to be coming to the Cup Series in 2022. Hooray! And also, so Bowman is successfully killing Pocono. We're almost there. All I say is just turn Pocono in, so Pocono's down to 1 date. Good. All I say now is turn Pocono into a road course and we're all set there. And honestly, all we need to do to really get the schedule fixed up is for Bowman to win at Texas. So we can get that shitty track off the schedule. Hell, Texas already down to 1 date anyway. All I say is, Bowman, you're a great master. You did it. You did the NASCAR community a great service by winning at Pocono. So it seems like Larson blowing his tire at Pocono ended up being a blessing in disguise. Because now Pocono's going to be down to 1 race. And they're losing, and the date they lost is bringing Gateway to the Cup Series. All I say is for Gateway potentially coming to the Cup Series, about time. It was long overdue. Thank God. All I say is, for the love of God, Gateway better not become a shitfest like every other inaugural race NASCAR had this year except for Road America. They better, Gateway, but knowing NASCAR's luck, Gateway's probably going to have some logistical issues or the race will be a shit show. 1 of the 2. Knowing NASCAR's luck. So yeah, that's Richmond here. We'll go over the points at the end of the race because we still got 2 other races to talk about this weekend. Next up, we have the F1 race at Monza, where right at the start, Daniel Ricciardo would have a great start and he'd jump out to the lead early over Verstappen. And then during the pit stops, Verstappen's team pit crew would shoot themselves in the foot by having an 11-second stop. So the master, the 2-second stops are human, and they actually made a mistake. Not often you see that, and Verstappen will lose ground. And then Lewis Hamilton, when he pits, he comes out right beside Verstappen coming out of pit lane. And then in the turn 1 chicane, this championship battle is about to get more personal. Because Lewis Hamilton tries to force Verstappen off the track in turn 1, but Max Verstappen refuses to give an inch. And then Verstappen would proceed to have his rear end fly and wreck Hamilton, and his car land on top of Hamilton, and both of them get stuck in the gravel pit. And also Verstappen's rear end destroys Hamilton's rear wing. And both championship contenders would take themselves out of the race. So in a way, Max Verstappen finally gets payback for Silverstone by taking himself out in the process. I say it's congrats to Verstappen. From now on, I will not call Red Bull the Red Karens, because you finally stood up for yourselves. Honestly, it took a little longer than I expected, but hey, better late than never. So yeah, and honestly, it was karma. Honestly, Lewis tried to force Max off the track, and Lewis got karma for Silverstone. And yeah, the fans, I know the Tifosi loved that since a lot of Ferrari fans can't stand Hamilton. So yeah, anyway, that set up the final run, which resulted in Daniel Ricciardo winning his first race since Monaco 2018. So Ricciardo ends his long winless streak and wins at Monza, with teammate Lando Norris finishing in second. So Lando does it again, and also McLaren gets their first win in F1 in almost 9 years, since Brazil 2012. And McLaren gets a 1-2 finish. And Valtteri Bottas goes from starting at the rear to finishing on the podium. Well, it's actually been a decent week for Bottas. Goes from ignoring team orders to being freed for Mercedes, and then he sticks it to Mercedes by getting on the podium. And also with Hamilton and Verstappen crashing, the championship points battle remains with Verstappen up by 5 points. But we also find out after the race that Verstappen is getting a 3-place grid penalty at Sochi in 2 weeks for that incident, since they put the blame on Verstappen for it. Honestly, that incident was more Hamilton's fault. Hamilton was the one that forced Verstappen off the track, and Verstappen wasn't giving up there. And honestly, it's honest karma for Hamilton dumping Verstappen at Silverstone. So yeah, Lewis gets a taste of his own medicine. Sir Lewis becomes Sir Bitch to Verstappen. I know some of you are probably going to say, have me play the Super Max music for that incident, but no, that's not how it works. We only play that music if Verstappen wins. We're not doing it for that. But all I say is, hey, in the end, the penalty's worth it. The penalty was worth it for Verstappen. It could cost Verstappen maybe in the championship battle, but fuck it, hey. You gotta stand up for yourself at some point. But yeah, anyway, let us continue on. Next up, we have the IndyCar race to wrap this up at Portland. So IndyCar returns to Portland for the first time in 2 years, and the start of the race was a shit show with a massive wreck in the first turn, which caused a lot of shit. But after that, the race actually got pretty chill. You got a lot of comers and goers in this race. In the end, though, Mr. Alex Palou does everything he needs to try and stay in this championship battle, and Palou gets the win, while Scott Dixon finishes third, trying to scrape himself back in the championship hunt, but he loses more ground. And then Pato O'Ward had a bad, miserable race and crapped the bed. So yeah, O'Ward really loses out in Newgarden and just stays neutral. And I think at this point in the year, with where Marcus Ericsson is, I think it's safe to eliminate Marcus Ericsson from this. So, yeah, I think Ericsson's pretty much out of this. So I think it's realistically down to 4 drivers. I think the championship battle for IndyCar is down to 4 drivers. It's between Alex Palou, Pato O'Ward, Joseph Newgarden, And Scott Dixon with a long shot outside shot. But Dixon's going to need a lot of help in the next 2 weeks if he's going to have a shot here. Like for Dixon's pretty much in a must-win scenario entering Laguna Seca and Long Beach. He has to pretty much win the last 2 races to have a legit shot. And hope something happens to Award, Palou, and Newgarden to have a shot. Since now Alex Palou has taken the championship lead by 25 points over Paddle Award and 34 points over Newgarden and 49 points over Scott Dixon. And yes, Alex Palou could win the championship after Laguna Seca. For Palou to win the championship, he pretty much needs to gain 30 points on Paddle Award. Like, pretty much for Palou to win the championship, he has to be anywhere between 49 to 55 points above the cutoff line or better. So if Palou enters Long Beach between 49 to 55 points or better, then Palou will be your champion by default. No matter what happens at Long Beach. But we still got 2 races to go. Both races in California. We got Laguna Seca next week, and then in the week after, we got Long Beach. 2 more weeks of the IndyCar Championship left. And it's looking like a great championship battle. Who will win the title? Will Palou or Award get their first championship? Will Newgarden become a 3-time champion? Or does Scott Dixon pull off a miracle comeback and win his 7th title in dramatic fashion? Tune in the next 2 weeks to find out. Anyway, let's take a look at the Cup and Xfinity chase grids entering the Bristol elimination race. Also, the trucks are back next week for Bristol for their elimination race. So, there will be a lot of names going into the death note next week and a lot of drivers going to elimination station. So, before we continue on, let's take a look at the Xfinity regular season championship battle entering the cutoff race at Bristol. So, entering this race, Allmendinger enters this race with a 5-point lead over Austin Cindric. So, pretty much Cindric just needs to pretty much finish up like 5 or 6 spots ahead of Allmendinger. Because I believe if it ends in a tie, Cindric would have the tiebreaker with most wins. So it had to be at least 5 spots or more. Or just have to gain at least 5 points on Allmendinger in stages. Or just finish 5 spots ahead, whichever happens. Or whatever happens in the race. So pretty much, both drivers, it's a very close championship battle between the two. So expect both of them to run up front and be the class of the field in this race. And at Bristol. Now to the Xfinity Chase cutoff line for the battle for the last 3 spots in the Xfinity Chase. It's pretty boring at the moment. With Clement 74 points above the cutoff line and Brandon Jones 67 above and Riley Herbst being 66 above. Mathematically, all 3 are in. But the only way either of those 3 miss out is if someone below the cutoff line wins. Because for Michael Annett, Ryan Sieg, Brandon Brown, Alex Obey, Tommy Joe Martins, and Landon Castle, their goal is very simple. Win, and you're in. So yeah, the only way they can make... Anyway, those 6 can make the chase is if they win at Bristol. They can mathematically not make it in. So yes. If any of those 6 below the cutoff line win, then it becomes very interesting with the cutoff line. To be honest, I don't see anyone below the cutoff line enters. I think Clements, Jones, and Herbst... I think the 12 drivers you see in the Xfinity Chase entering Bristol, they're going to be the same 12 drivers you'll see leaving Bristol because the competition in Xfinity is still about as diluted as my piss. So anyway, let's just go to the Cup Chase Grid cutoff line. So now here's the Chase cutoff line entering Bristol. So we have Logano 40 points to the good. Let's be real, Logano's pretty much in. He's safe. I don't see Logano being eliminated. Ryan Blaney's 20 and Harvick are 28 and 25 to the good. I think they're pretty safe. They just got to do the bare minimum and stay out of trouble. Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Brad Keselowski, I think they're pretty safe too. Maybe. I think for those 3, they just got to do the bare minimum and just stay clean and stay out of trouble. And just hope someone below the cutoff line doesn't win. See, I think those 3 are pretty good too. So I expect those 3. But I think 10th, 11th, and 12th is when it gets interesting. Kyle Busch is only 8 points to the good entering Bristol. And Almirola is only 3 points to the good entering Bristol. So Kyle Busch needs to just stay out of trouble and just finish near the front to have to advance on. Almirola, same deal. He just needs to just stay out of trouble, which for Almirola is bad luck this year. That's easier said than done. And then Kurt Busch enters tied with Alex Bowman for that 12th and final spot into the round of 12. But Kurt Busch has the tiebreaker because of the fucking best finish in the round of 16, which is complete bullshit. Honestly, the tiebreaker should be most wins, or most seconds, or most thirds, and so on throughout the season. Not your best finish in two races at Darlington and Richmond. Like, the Chase tiebreaker is fucking stupid and ridiculous. Like, all this tiebreaker does is just show that Alex Bowman's 3 wins this year are meaningless, and that what you do in the regular season truly doesn't matter. It truly means nothing, what you do in the regular season. It just proves the regular season is meaningless. And you wonder why fans still shit on the Chase grid. So yeah, between Kurt Busch and Bowman, whoever finishes the highest will pretty much get their spot in. Tyler Reddick's 5 points out. He needs to have a solid run and hope someone above the cutoff line struggles. And then you got William Byron, 18 points below the cutoff line. Byron needs to have a solid run or win the race. And he needs others to struggle to have a shot. And then Michael McDowell. Do we really have to pretend Michael McDowell still has a legit shot? McDowell's in a must-win scenario. Let's be real. Do we really have to pretend here? McDowell's not moving on to the round at 6-12. He's going to be eliminated next week. At least after next week, we can stop pretending McDowell has a legit shot at the championship, right? We can stop pretending after Bristol. Because there's no way McDowell's moving on. McDowell is honestly a waste of a Chase spot. And it proves that the winning you're in thing in the regular season is fucking stupid and dumb. Just like the Chase grid. Stupid and dumb. But yeah, anyway. On to Bristol next week. Who moves on to the round of 12? Who makes the Xfinity Chase? Who moves on to the round of 8 in trucks? And who will all be sent packing to Elimination Station? Tune in to Bristol next week to find out. And what will happen in the IndyCar Championship battle at Laguna Seca next week. Tune in to find out. Peace. Wait, what? Rick Rare Racing won a NASCAR race? What the hell? This is real, right? This has got to be fake. There's no way that's real, right? Wait. That's real? Oh, son of a...